Let's go over how to draw the beholder from D&D. It's going to be real simple and easy, and I'm going to go through it with you. And you can do it with me, you can watch me. So let's get started. All right, I'm kind of looking at this, and I put a vague outline, very, very vague, with a very light pencil. I don't know if you can even see it. You probably cannot from there. But let's go over here now, and I'm going to start with the pretty much what I like to go for is the eye. The beholder has one eye, and I want him to be mad. And how do you do that with one eye, right? Because usually, like, it's a furrowing of the two eyes downward. I just gonna have to cheat. He's gonna have like a Sonic eye, where it bends at the middle, even though it shouldn't make sense anatomically. But nothing about this dude makes sense anatomically. He is flying. There's so much that doesn't make any sense. So doesn't matter. Gonna go over here and draw that pupil and iris in the center right there. Put a little bit of a highlight. And I really want to put that pupil. I really want to actually kind of nail down the eye before I move on sometimes, because it gives me confidence. And that's why I tend to start with the eye a bunch when I draw my personal drawings. Line over here. As far as the pen I'm using this Fudenosuke. It's basically a very thin brush pen. Very thin. The pen doesn't really matter. It's just, obviously I'm using black ink. That part does matter. But in general, it doesn't matter that much. Line over here, the sides of the mouth. They're kind of going to hug that portion of the eye. Right here. Right on. Line over here. Line over here. Going down over here to the teeth in general. And I'm going to put a vague outline of the teeth. I want to vary up the sizes a little bit, but I do want it to kind of curl back into space, because you don't want to draw them completely flat. You want to draw them kind of rounding out a little bit, like rounding this corner just a bit. So maybe you see a little bit of dark over here. Same thing over here. You see a little bit of dark. Because they're rounding. It's a tooth cylinder. And that's probably one of the most common things in all of drawing, is one of those common mistakes, which is you want to be able to draw that tooth cylinder and make it make sense, because that's the way it looks in us, Over here, some rando teeth, and I'm just putting these are still, I consider them placeholders still, because now I want to go into the gum area right here a little bit. I'll go into the gums. And make that make a little bit more sense, right? We're looking at it. It's like, okay. Because when you look at your own gums, the teeth are plunged in there, right? And that's kind of what I want to do. Maybe make some intensity and actually kind of curl it down here from the eye. Maybe a bit. Because they're going to kind of run into each other around there. It's got a wild there. Line over here, maybe catching a little bit of some darks on each side. Right on. There you go. Just kind of kind of meddling with the teeth a little bit. We're just kind of toying with him. And I can go back to this area in a minute and put some more stuff, but let's go toward the bottom here. Let's go up and find that lower portion, right, of the teeth right here. There we go. And again, just kind of, I mean, I'm doing it rather quickly because this is a demo, but excuse me, there's like some weird chunk of the paper that came off right here. And those are going to round out back there a little bit somewhere because of the open mouth. Right? And right now we're still just getting the general shape of this guy, right? Of the face, because the face is the most important part, right? And a lot of people, a lot of different artists have different ways of drawing, right? Of the little add-ons they can do. I'll put some spikes over here. There's a whole lot of little add-ons that you could do in general. And I'm thinking about what is coming first in front of the camera. What is coming in front of the camera first, right? Maybe these little, probes in the back of his head here, or the top of his head, forgive me. Sometimes it comes from behind. I guess a lot of times it comes from behind as well, but I'm just going to put a few. And I'm just putting the stem where they're touching the bottom. I'm not going to put too many more, I was going to say, in the front. I'll probably put some. There you go. Okay, let's kind of push into this beholder a little bit here. So I'm going to go over here and put out another, tendril. I'm trying to figure out what the directional flow is going to be of them. And there doesn't really have to be a flow, I'll be honest. I'm just going to make it that way a little bit because it's slightly turned that direction. But that's kind of what I'm going to do with that for the most part. I'm going to make that directional flow like that. So. And maybe put one over here. So we'll go back to those guys in a bit. I'm going to go more into the face over here, and I'm pulling right here. And I want it to be crunchy at the bottom in general, like there's spikes coming off of there. Right. There we go. Just kind of some general spikes, I think, toward the bottom. I think it looks cool. And I've kind of seen that in certain designs as well. So just kind of pulling down and mostly kind of giving it a different flavor, a little bit, slightly different flavor at least. Yeah, something like that. Looks pretty good. There we go. Now it's starting to come together a little bit more, right? You can kind of see it. We are going to go, let's go very deep into his face, okay? So going over here, and I'm just kind of drawing around, and I'm thinking, you know what? This is a good time to talk a little bit about kind of just some maybe art tips as I'm filling this dark area in right here. So I would say, in general, you want to have good practices when you draw. right? You want to be able to kind of take what you know and kind of apply it well. Because one of the things that's most common with this whole art thing is learning to draw, drawing little bits good. I mean, drawing even little stuff in your sketchbook very good, but never coming up with finished pieces. And that's something that we want to fix. You want to be able to draw a finished piece, right? It's really important to do that. It's, I would say, you want to be able to apply your art in a certain way. You could go wild with your sketchbook stuff, like the way some people do, and then maybe that can be right. Like that can be something. I have known people to do that as well. Go wild with your sketchbook stuff, and it does help quite a lot, right? Like if you really make really elaborate sketches. I think if you look at someone, maybe it's somebody like Kim Jung Gi or Peter Han. Peter Han especially, he will do a lot of sketchbook illustration stuff where it's really just kind of sketchbook stuff, but they look super professional, and it's basically his portfolio. I think Peter Han's way more like that than Kim Jung Gi was. Kim Jung Gi was a little bit more. He would do these gigantic wall illustrations and stuff, so it was different. Neither one of these guys really did color though. They kind of focused on a very specific craft and threw their entire time behind it. I know Carl Kapinski's kind of like that, but he does do paintings as well, a lot. You know, Carl Kapinski, he's pretty cool, and yeah, just kind of start to kind of explore trying to do long finished pieces right there, because I do think it's a habit that even I fall into now. Sometimes I'm just doing drawings, and I don't get back to maybe doing digital paintings or maybe just traditional paintings that I should be doing. So yeah, there you go. And just you want to kind of believe in yourself. I understand that it's really hard to do that sometimes with it, like a skill that seems. I believe it attracts a lot of introverts. I was an introvert. I don't know what happened, but I maybe I was never an introvert, but I always felt like I was a very quiet person, and even now I do enjoy my peace, but I do get energy from other people, from interactions with other people, and I heard that's what an extrovert is, you know. So I do get a lot of energy from my extroverted interactions and stuff like that. I used to actually be a club promoter, so that was interesting. Like for nightclubs, I used to do that, and it was fun. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a good adventure and a nice few years in my life. But you know, I think that's where I really became very, very extroverted at that point. But now, like I said, since COVID and stuff like that, I've become more, enjoying my peace. But I do enjoy the cool interactions I have with people in my life, or people in my, I do like yoga and stuff like that. So I do enjoy those interactions quite a lot. Um, and some people might consider me an extrovert because I do like chatting sometimes, but not always, right? Not always. It's not always a thing. So, anyways, just kind of thought I'd throw that out there. All right, let's go a little bit deeper into the gums right here, the gum line. So, there we go. Oh, sorry, it's a weird little sound. All right. Going over here, it's going to be a little bit of darkness. I'm trying to think about what is going to capture darkness and what will not, right? Something that you also should think about. Like, what's the light going to hit? And what's not going to do? There's little crevices and cracks around his face. The light's probably not going to hit that. All right, there you go. Cool, cool. There we go. And more or less just kind of putting it over here. All right. And now I kind of look at it again. And I'm like, okay, what can I reevaluate on this guy? He needs some, a little bit of texture. That would help quite a bit. Um, just around the mouth over here. I'm just picking my spots, right? I don't want to put texture all over him. And I've talked about texture before. Um, I just want to indicate it in certain areas, but I don't really want it to completely take over because I just don't like that look. And it's literally just like a style thing. That's all it comes down to. It's nothing more than just a style thing that we've kind of established together. There we go. Sweet. Put a little bit of dark over here. I'm picking out where I'm going to pull darks, right? You want to pull some uh, some darks over here. There we go. There we go. Oh man. Okay, so we will go back to the face, but one thing I'm gonna do right now is erase all of this goofy stuff right here, and you're not gonna do that. You're not gonna see that because I'm gonna do that off camera. All right, let's get back in here. We're gonna put the little eyeballs at the end of each of his tendrils, and then we're gonna do one more sweeping surface, right? Putting it there, right? It's kind of gripping it at the end. There we go. Here. And that shape at the end is pretty much an eyeball. If you know how to draw an eyeball in general, like the eyes, then should be relatively simple. I know when we're drawing stuff like this, it tends to be it tends to be very tempting to just kind of, how do you say, coast and do stuff as an afterthought. But you want to try to put maybe like a similar amount of, not always, but a similar amount of detail in certain things that maybe you wouldn't have, right? Where like sometimes people do that with feet. If you ever look at Frazetta, Frank Frazetta, amazing artist. He kind of did that with feet sometimes. Like you put it behind a potted plant. I know that Rob Liefeld is infamous for doing stuff like that, but Frazetta did do it as well. Um, it's it's I like it. I mean it's a cool trick. If you can do it, why not do it? But I understand it can save time and stuff like that. So all right, we put them there, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a little bit of maybe some shadowy details over here, just to kind of give it um, more, like right here where it's sticking to the head. I want it to kind of graft there to the skull, right? Throw some dark here in the back of some of this area. Forgive me if my hand is blocking it, by the way. I'm trying really hard not to block it with my hand, but some of it is it's hard to help, right? I'll try to distance it a little bit. So, in terms of demons and like drawings and stuff like that, recommend anything and I will totally draw it. I'm trying to update this channel and I really want to make this channel active again. So if you are watching right now, if you're hearing my voice right now, if you can, I would appreciate, if you have time, please share the video. I'm just trying to make this channel very active again so I can post happily and just kind of do my thing and just kind of bring it back because it is going to be filled with a lot of the stuff that I, really enjoyed, which is kind of the just kind of talking about art, helping people become better, doing these long drawings, just kind of in a relaxed environment, and just kind of talk in general about my art experience while hearing yours too in the comments. Like I've already made a few videos based on the things people have commented on, so I am listening to people, and it is something that I really, really enjoy. So, yeah, absolutely do it. It's fun, and it's something that I'm also creating a new. I already have the new website is like 80% done. You guys can just go to it. It's sketchmonsterart.com. It's not just sketchmonster.com. It's got to be sketchmonsterart.com. I guess unfortunately Sketch Monster was taken, so that's unfortunate. But trying to pick my dark areas selectively here. There we go. Again, just putting in some of the cracks and stuff like that in the areas right there. There we go. There we go. And now I'm looking around, I'm thinking, okay, what can we add here to our character, right? This is kind of like finishing touch time. What will add to this? Maybe some darkness over here to kind of show that that one's coming in from behind, which a lot of these do come in from behind, but again, it depends on the angle that's going on. But adding in selectively dark areas can actually, bring focus to kind of what you're doing, and that's again kind of a big part of what we're doing is creating this environment for the viewer. I was gonna say the reader, but I would say the viewer. You're creating an environment, you're creating some entertainment for them. So just kind of look at it and enjoy what they're looking at. And when you think about it that way, it's entertaining. Like I said, it's fun. It kind of gives you a different motivation. Also, look into the motivations that maybe you have as an artist. Is the motivation to make money, and is this a job, or is it just to kind of like enjoy what you're doing? Is it to please a viewer? Is it to please yourself and the viewer? Right? When you please yourself, you're kind of thinking, oh, okay, I want to do this line over here, and I want to do this line over here. You kind of think a little bit differently. It'll just hit a little different, usually. So that's kind of something that is, important to figure out. Your motivation of art can help you in a lot of ways. So yeah, it's just something to watch out for. But I think my time is up here. I want to thank you very much. Like I said, you're amazing. You're the reason I do this, and yeah, I'm excited to kind of do a lot of stuff on the channel and keep it going, keep it moving forward. Just moving it forward is kind of my main goal, like I said. And yeah, I would love for this to kind of just be my main channel. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you later. Okay, so that was amazing. You finished this lesson, but keep it going. Keep the art practice going by clicking this video right here. It's going to be within the same theme, and you want to keep it rolling to get better and better and better and get that art flow going. So click right here.